All set? Okay. Okay, let's start this. Okay, thanks for being here, everybody. This is the Solid Waste Special Service District meeting for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. My name is Colin Topper, I'm the chair. Mike, if you could start us just going around and introducing ourselves.
Sure. Mike Dunaway. I'm still a member. I'm a member of the board.
Ashley Wareham, treasurer.
Chris Colville, district manager.
LJ Blackburn, vice chair.
Lily Houghton, administrative coordinator.
Jessica Thacker, district clerk.
Who do we have online?
Diane Ackerman, Castle Valley representative.
Nick Lundberg, accounting support.
Great, thanks Diane and Nick. Okay, do we have any citizens to be heard? Any emails, Jessica?
Last name.
None? Okay.
No. Okay.
Okay, so on to the approval of minutes. So we have two sets of minutes to approve.
I motion to approve the May 21st and June 18th of 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Thanks, LJ. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. All in favor?
Can I vote, although I wasn't here in May?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, the only reason we had that issue last time was because y'all hadn't been like officially voted in as members yet. That was the reason why.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, moving on to the treasurer financial.
Right, so we paid for things I'm realizing there was one typo on here, but these are for June. So I do apologize. It says, payroll expenses paid in May on the first line. But, the total paid in June was $255,000. Oh my goodness, sorry, $255,259.34. So we're still utilizing Elwood staffing, and the cost for temp labor are holding steady. So currently there are 30 employees with the district and 7 temps through Elwood. We did hire 1 temp on as a staff member into that 30, so we're, using it as we had intended, for that introductory period. And the main reason why payroll expenses are lower than May had 3 payrolls, so that's why we're so much higher than June's. And then operational expenses paid in June were $367,077.51. So building repairs and maintenance of the $1,426.29 accrued to $906 was spent on the new building. For equipment repairs and maintenance, there was about $5,000 in work on the scale at Klondike, and there were several 1,000-hour and 500-hour services for pieces of equipment. We have food and beverage expenses went up. We had the waste and recycling workers week where we did some staff appreciation events. And the district is in a good place overall. I mean, year to date, PTIF contributions come just under $1 million. So we will definitely have no problems making next year's bond payment and the interest payment that's due in November, but also we started to put money into a contingency fund.
Great.
Just kind of build that up. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the audit, just for the profit and loss, if you looked at that, I just received the invoice for the audit, but it hasn't been in a checklist yet. It hasn't been paid, which is why it's not on the expense report, but it's on the profit and loss. But that's a one-time a year thing. And let's see. Oh, and then there was something for IT support, had to do with EMCS and implementation. Are there any questions about the profit and loss or the expenditures? Okay, so the total amount in June came to $772,336.85.
We're ready for a motion. I motion to approve the expenditures of the month of June 2025 in the amount of $772,336.85.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mike, second by Diane. Okay. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Thanks, Lily. Yeah, moving on. To reports from board and staff. Chris, you want to start us off?
Yeah, yeah, it's been kind of a busy month. I'll just kind of go down this. I go through it pretty quick though. So on June 24th, I went and visited the Danish Flats Waste Solutions Facility, which will help kind of go into a little bit more detail later on. June 25th, we had a group meeting, which is an intergovernment agency meeting with all kinds of people there. And last night, the county commission is gonna voted to continue to help fund the wag bag collection program. On June 26th, I met with Synergy. They're trying to create, they got a coalition with some other businesses, local businesses. They're trying to reach zero waste goals for their community. So that's an ongoing, or for their organization. So that's an ongoing collaboration. June 27th, we had the UDEQ inspections. I asked the health department to be here because it had been a long time since they've done inspections. So I've kind of been working with the health department. July 1st, I attended Grand County Commission regular meeting workshop where they were going over their budgets and determining funding for this year for the TRT. It was decided that they will not reduce any of the essential service fundings or TRT fundings, at least for this year, are still good. July 2nd, I had a meeting with UDOT to get some zoning clarifications. I've been working with, or trying to work with the planning and zoning department. I was misled a little bit, and I don't necessarily put the blame on them. I know they're kind of going through some staffing issues, but I was kind of led to believe that UDOT was going to not just take their easement, but expand their easement. With the conversations with UDOT, that is not something that's in any kind of not long-term planning. He wouldn't commit to a long. It was a valuable conversation, and we've set up some kind of future collaboration as far as if we're going to be doing anything, any improvements to this property. They're willing to kind of give us some insight so that we don't necessarily build into anything that we might have to rebuild. I don't know if Jess was going to go over this, but we also had a meeting that day with the Utah oil collection thing. I'll leave that there. July 10th, I had a meeting with the county roads department. We decided to do a cooperative program for the Moab landfill. I don't know if anyone's been up there, but our entrance is on the verge of being dangerous. There is a couple of massive potholes forming, and it's just getting worse. I was informed earlier this season that they were going to do a chip seal on Sand Flats Road. So I was trying to work out some kind of improvement before they did the chip seal, because the chip seal overlaid over an improvement will kind of hold the integrity. But what we decided is if I purchase the material, they'll lay the material out, and it's basically gonna be a cold mix lay. They'll let it sit there for a little bit, and then when they chip seal in September 9th, that'll buy us some time. And it's not super long-term fix, but if it's done right, it'll buy us some time.
We'll go all the way up to the gatehouse or just to the.
And it depends on kind of how much materials. I kind of put a limit on the materials, and so yeah, if we have extra, they'll just start taking that extra going in. We do have we segregate asphalt that goes up there, so wherever that stops, we'll probably take that our excess asphalt, and then we can just kind of crush it and lay it, and then it makes a pretty good road that'll go up to the gatehouse. We've also been talking, I know in the past couple board meetings, we brought up Motive that offers like our cameras and GPS and stuff. We came across another company that does about the same thing. Apparently it works a little bit better with AMCS, so we're in talks with them. They're gonna send us some demo. If nothing else, it basically kind of it's gonna make Motive a little bit more competitive with their pricing. Let's see, where am I at? July 15th, yesterday, I had a meeting with the city. We decided to meet bi-monthly, just to continue, continue to have communications open. Couple of the high-level topics we talked about is the non-payment procedures that are gonna be happening in the city. We've recently had, and this has been going on for years, we have issues when people go get demo and remodel permits, that by the time that they come to us, they're ready to dispose of it and they have no knowledge of what we're doing. So if what I'm trying to do, and I've done this a couple times and it hasn't ever been followed through, but I'll try it again, is if I can get the building department, when they get issued a demo permit or a remodel permit, to have a checklist that will inform who's ever trying to get it, the customer, of the requirements. Because really the same requirements are kind of go down the list. It's just different government agencies. So if they've done everything right, this checklist should have them have everything ready by the time that they come for disposal. We've had all kinds of issues where people have hired third-party companies to haul their stuff, and we've stopped them at gatehouses and we can't allow them in, and they're paying them $150 an hour. Why I'm trying to figure out whether we can even take that material, this facility or anything else. So Michael Black, he was pretty supportive of that, and I'll be reaching out to the health department. I know Ryan from the health department was involved in previous discussions.
Hey, Chris, can we interrupt with questions?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
no, just stop. Sorry.
With the city, did you find any compromise on the late payment procedures?
Well, not really. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna end up pulling them. So we've kind of systemized the process. We're gonna make it consistent between the city and the county. So basically there's stages. They'll go to a point where we'll just start skipping them for a couple weeks, and then after that, we'll just pull them. Lily's kind of been working on a letter that we'll send out that will kind of give them information about the ordinance. And then, so what happens when the city, because there's valid reasons why people don't have service in the city, like if they turn off their utilities, they're not there. The city treasurer department sends us an email informing us, and then we'll remove service. So basically, we're just going to reciprocate that. So we'll just send them that we've pulled the container from them, and we'll leave it up to the city to decide. I mean, that's kind of their realm, and we'll just let them kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But at least we'll try to give them the information of who it is, and then how they want to deal with it. We'll be up to them. Another high level thing that I've talked about is financial assurance. So in prior meeting that I've had with the city manager, he was questioning whether Moab City is actually responsible for financial assurance guarantees with the district. So, and since the last meeting, every year we send them a letter that states what's the amount of the closure, post-closure cost. What's supposed to happen is the city is 50%, the county is 50%, and they back the district that has to have 100%. So he's gonna be sending that off to his lawyers and trying to get a legal stance on that. And yeah, we've just decided to establish bi-monthly meetings.
Great.
Some administrative updates. So I issued a letter on May 22nd, basically informing all the staff that I'll be restructuring. Which we've kind of a little bit, but I wanted to kind of say this in a public meeting. Lily's title's been changed from administrative manager to administrative coordinator. And this is in no way a diminished role. My first kind of concern was when we started getting the HR is having someone in a manager role also play the role of an HR representative. It, to me, it kind of seemed like a kind of a conflict of not necessarily interest, but just a kind of a power imbalance. But once again, I mean, Lily plays a vital role and is part of the success that we're going through right now. And it also is gonna free her up to kind of strengthen our administrative infrastructure, continue the HR and oversee basically internal account procedures, which she's been doing a great job at. I'm definitely a part of, you know, why we can be so positive when we're going over our finances right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regulatory update, Utah Code 63D-2-105, a new state requirement took effect July 1st, 2025. It mandates government agencies list official websites and email addresses using a .gov domain. The district will need to assess compliance and begin planning for a transition. This affects both public-facing websites and staff email addresses. This is something that I just stumbled upon in my correspondence with the county attorney, Stephen Stocks.
If
Because
I may, I did reach out to GJ Computer and it sounds relatively straightforward to do it on GoDaddy's site, but
there's free
Yeah.
resources
Okay.
available to government
I
agencies.
understand I've spoken with you about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had noticed that all of a sudden the county's emails were going from .net to .gov.
Some of the cities, yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I was informed that we were supposed to do this by July 1st. So, yeah, we're a little behind, but, yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, I know that when we went .org, there was a debate and I can't even remember what the decision was. I think that was prior to when you were here, why we went to .org instead of .gov. Cause it actually has been a detriment to us, especially like, trying to get grants and stuff. People are like, well, why do you have a .org, you know, nonprofit? No, we're a government, you know, a political subdivision of the state of Utah anyways. So, I mean, I think this just helps clean some things up,
Makes
so.
sense.
Some other items, we purchased a water truck. We were able to purchase it, basically just outright, without financing and I can let Lily address this and we still made our PTIF, payment. So, and it is gonna be a huge asset, to the district. I mean, we actually had on Monday another episode of when I had to call Harrison's because people were just getting stuck down there and instead of trying to be in a panic and trying to call around, it was a pretty easy procedure.
Great.
We've launched a 12-week project to audit all collection routes. Many of the current routes have remained largely unchanged since Bob's sanitation area with just basically updates when Monument Waste took over. So we're gonna do a pretty hard nosed dive into all of the routes. We have some new additions to our software that will kind of help facilitate a little bit, but I mean, right now, we're just trying to set basically time baselines for time and just trying to get things a little bit more organized. And I think we can create a lot of efficiencies there. Okay. At the end of this month, we will have a new rear load truck delivered that the board had voted on. This will free up some revenue, so we'll be able to return one of the rentals that we pay $8,000 for the purchase payment of about $3,600. Something that we've been trying to do, kind of unsuccessfully, but a lot of things in the district, we're just gonna keep pressing on it, is try to optimize board meetings. We want to try to have everything assembled and given to you guys by Friday. That includes like board reports and stuff, so you guys don't like come here, because I know there's a lot of information that gets thrown at you in the meetings, and I think that's, you know, just to be kind of a little bit more transparent, give you guys time to develop questions and be able to ask the hard questions that, you know, I welcome. So that is something that we're gonna kind of press harder on. I've also signed, I haven't sent it off yet, an agreement with Forest Green Engineering. This is for initial consultation and a feasibility analysis regarding transfer station expansion. just part of our due diligence, planning, the initial scope of work, is gonna be under procurement, limits. And I will be comparing it against, because we're also utilizing HDR engineering, which is under the procurement limits. But I'll have to make sure with Nick and kind of compare, with what the overall cost is going on. I met with Sherry Griffith last week just to kind of update her on the progress of the property and keep her appraised of the situation. In one of my meetings with the health department, Orion had a good idea. He's been dealing with the planning and zoning department. Apparently they've kind of got their stuff together, so he suggested I just go get on their agenda, which I plan to do hopefully this week, so that I can just bring up a lot of this stuff to the planning and zoning department, obviously before going to the county for some of the bigger issues that we're gonna be facing in the future. And that's all I got.
Have you been home since the last meeting?
He's already put in 80 hours this pay period.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you, Chris. Yeah, really good stuff. Any questions for Chris?
Were you gonna talk more about the Danish flat waste?
Yes, that is.
Thanks.
I think it's K on the agenda,
Okay, oh, that's in the agenda later.
or it's J, sorry.
Okay, great.
Excellent. You're up.
Right, I mean, thank you all, but, the position the district's in is not my doing. I mean, this is such a team effort. And I think as much as I said I'd never give them a good review, I think AMCS is.
Oh my
What?
Yeah, I don't know, but, just with cash flow, I mean, it's helped immensely compared to where we were at with Terra Trash. So, this is not a single person effort. Tying
I think
into,
you're losing a lot of money with your trash.
oh, absolutely,
Really?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I always thought so. There was just nothing I could.
There's no reports. You'd have to like manually know to go into an account to see people weren't receiving invoices.
Which is one reason why I wanted the software.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, better for worse. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But so now being a coordinator, I don't directly supervise anyone. Who wouldn't want that? So huge shout out to Savannah. So she's taken over supervising the CSRs, which she's been doing since I want to say end of November. But she's also taken over a lot of the direct billing tasks that I was doing, which is just been a huge help and really helped free up time. And as we're slowly getting processes more streamlined, I was going to focus on some longer term priorities, such as like drafting and editing policies that the auditors recommended, which were data and computer security, credit card policies, and the employee loan program will be discussed again. The employee handbook is still with legal review when it's returned. Jill, our HR partner, has brought up some really good points that I just want to make sure there's clarity to just iron out things. The annual workers' comp audit is due August 1st, so I've been working on that. It's any organization that has workers' comp, it's based off of estimated payroll, and then they look at your actual payroll. So it's just a normal yearly audit. And then sales tax, I still have not done that. Submit all the sales tax that we've paid to the state tax office to try and recoup that. So those were some of the longer term priorities I wanted to work on. Jill, the HR partner, did do an employment law training back on June 18th, which Ashley attended. There was a quiz portion. So 7 out of the 5 people that attended the training took the quiz, 4 out of 5 passed, but it just really helped assess the knowledge. The 2 staff members that haven't taken it yet, I've been in touch with, and they've been out for various reasons. I also reached out more to the Utah Trust they have our insurance company. They have a lot of great trainings. And Jason, one of our contacts, shared some great resources that they have. You know, it's hard to hold people accountable if they've never been trained how to do something very properly. And they have just a specific, I think it's called, I forget what it's called. It's some funny name, but they have 10 to 15 minute long videos for just a range of topics. So we can, you know, have people watch a video and know that they've been appropriately trained. So we can, I mean, the goal is to just increase knowledge, but to be able to hold staff accountable too.
What are some, do you know offhand, what are some examples of those topics?
Oh, I took one for vehicle pre-trip checklist inspections, because I've never done
Okay.
this in interviewing drivers. Like, I don't really know what I'm asking them, so it was helpful to take in their little quizzes. I mean, there's ladder safety, slips, trips and falls,
Okay,
vehicle
great.
backing. So very applicable things. I didn't find anything specific to, waste collection or garbage service, but they have a lot of heavy equipment or like heavy duty truck things that I thought would be helpful. So I've shared that with, Danny, the facilities supervisor. Thought that'd be good.
Is that something that would be beneficial for all the staff, or their little tidbits of?
Oh, yeah, I thought office
Yes, sir.
staff, we could do like proper lifting technique.
Yeah, is there
know.
any way that we could incentivize, the watching of these or the?
Yeah,
Or is that necessary or?
I don't know if we need to incentivize it. I also thought it's kind of in a similar format to YouTube, that would be accessible to all staff members, that we
Okay.
could, obviously pay them for the time. We don't have a lot of computers, but something we could send them a link and they could
for the
watch.
time? Absolutely,
That's
that's
And if
great
they
incentive.
give me a thing that they passed it, I would put like an extra half hour on their time, something
you
like
go.
that we could look at.
That's something that the county does. They have a safety topic each month and then you watch the video, you fill out the little Google form
Mhm.
stating that you did it, and then it enters your name into a raffle.
Cool.
That's what they do.
We can do that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I have to bring up the synergy because we don't get any kickbacks for all our trainings.
But then, AMCS, so the yearly contract, took effect, oh my goodness, April 8th, but we didn't actually pay for it until the end of June, so I was surprised that that date wasn't updated to June.
I actually held that to April,
You kept it on April, oh, okay,
just because that'll get us to the renewal period quicker.
yeah.
So,
No, that makes sense then. I talked with Savannah about this, and billing at first was terrible. It's now been, oh my gosh, September, like more than half a year. And we've got it mostly dialed in. There's still some hiccups, but it's operating. The things that we really haven't done yet with the routing and having it work at the landfills are the things that are kind of like how billing was last August. The Veriphones, the little credit card terminal machines, are still not working. We brought this up to them, I think since 2023, but like specifically in November of 2024, we had meetings where they were kind of saying, I don't know, but never really did anything. Our project manager got back to us, that multiple customers are experiencing problems with the Verifone, and they'll have more of an update on August 5th. I believe our issues are different since it's never worked for us, but it's hard to relay that. I just am hoping to get these operational in August. Support for the Square terminals we have lapses September 1st. And I don't want to invest in more hardware with Square being temporary. So
Do you have another backup for this?
they just won't be supporting the hardware. So if like something malfunctions, people could always call us at the main office and we could run it electronically through the Square portal on the webs, like how we can access it that
But
way.
not the hardware.
Yeah, but not the hardware. So hopefully the hardware, it'd be like if you have an older phone that they no longer support. Hopefully it'll be enough to get us through until EMCS is fully operational with the landfills. That's all I have. Are there questions?
I got one thing, I don't know if I think I did tell you this, but, cause I questioned, I didn't want what happened last year. Where all this extra time and all these meetings, the billable hours is not being charged until we get the Verifone and all these systems in place.
That was confirmed.
That was confirmed.
Excellent.
Great.
And so it sounds like they're being responsive.
More so, our project manager told us last Thursday she'd give us an answer Friday. Savannah had to email her yesterday. She gave us the answer yesterday that now it'll be August 5th before they know more. I do think our project manager is trying. I think they're just a big company and
Right.
we've been limping along for so long that I'm not sure if they fully understand the issues that were happening. We were supposed to have a meeting 2 weeks ago and that was canceled. Is there a meeting tomorrow?
No, that was
Oh, was that last
That
week?
was
And I
last
was out,
week.
okay.
That's where I verified about the hours and. Yeah, there was some assurity that they were, still pushing forward and and they were gonna continue to work with us on that level with these meetings until they get us up to the. Operational, or whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah.
But once again, that was my thing of keeping the renewal and April rather than, because that sets a hard line for them. Sooner than later.
Mhm.
Lily, I have a question.
Yeah,
It seems as if you and Savannah have worked out some of these responsibilities that has switched now to Savannah from you and maybe back and forth, some of Savannah's, I don't know. But has there been any additional compensation for any of this switching, like Savannah's, you said, I think you mentioned that Savannah had already been doing the supervisory work. And so now she's official supervisor. Is she paid more to do this? Or how's that work?
I mean, outside of a closed session, I don't believe we're supposed to talk about compensation. She was given a new title and a different offer from the district back in November. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Well, everyone's happy. That's all I care about. But I'm just saying that if somebody's taken on more responsibility, it seems as if they should get compensation for that. That's all I'm implying.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I have.
Any more questions? Okay, Jessica.
I'm not gonna be presenting too much because two of my main items that I've been working on are
Yep.
later in the meeting. So as Chris mentioned earlier, we met with UDEQ and the health department regarding our used oil collection program. So right now we are known as a type B. We can take DIYs and farmer oil at this time for free. And we've been running into a lot of issues where we're getting people with larger amounts or larger volumes, and we're finding it a bit redundant, but to tell them that they can bring in this amount, then they have to come back and bring that back. And so we talked to them about the process and kind of the expectations of moving from a type B to a type C. The next closest type C is in Bullfrog and Salt Lake City. So if we did move up to a type C, that would allow us to take larger quantities and kind of centralize used oil collection, because when you start telling people that they can't bring these things, then the response is normally, okay, well, I'm just gonna go dump it in the desert. So we got feedback from UDEQ on how to start that process, and then we also went over the grant program that is available and the different uses that it could be used for. And I believe we kind of wanted to push that either towards covering the cost of the transportation of the oil through a verified oil transporter, or to the expansion of the program itself, which also includes leasing more pieces of container or larger containers or secondary container, enhancing spill kits, that sort of thing. And then we also were able to get verification that they have started the process or have already finished the process, I can't remember, of reimbursing us for this program, because you're supposed to get 25 cents per gallon that you collect. That's the whole point of us having that as a free program, is we're supposed to get reimbursed from the state. And in the entire time that I've known about this program, we have never been paid for it.
Right.
So we're finally getting a check.
Yeah. Does it backdate? Does it go back?
I don't know about that.
Well,
Well, and the check's still in the mail too.
Yeah, and the check. As far as I know, they probably are only gonna do it with the data that they can verify, which is probably only gonna be 2024, because that's when they switched over to the electronic logs versus the paper logs.
Yeah.
And there's that. And then my only other thing is shout out to Asta for the Old Spanish Trail Arena for allowing us to participate in the 4th of July parade. And shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
For driving the truck, because my original person that was supposed to be in the truck was no longer available. So Chris was the last minute addition.
How'd you do?
Did excellent.
Is that is the type C, is it gonna make like the infrastructure for a lot more or bigger? Is it gonna, like, how big a switch is that for you guys?
She said she was gonna have to look at their available pieces of equipment, because if we wanted to do that, I was like, I won't get us the biggest one you can. So I think she did verify that there is 1,000 gallon tank, which is what we have out there. But the only thing is it was originally held in an inside unit. And so I think she needed to double check that it could handle like outdoor
Outside.
conditions.
Right.
But she said there is 500s that are rated for outside storage. So it was basically just determining if that one was viable for outside. And we can get it for free. We just lease it from the state.
So then it would be like a revenue neutral thing to go to a
Basically,
seat.
yeah, it's more so of keeping people from getting irritated when we tell them no and don't.
No, yeah, it's a good reason to do it.
Well, but the type C, we actually can collect for.
From businesses. From the
Businesses.
type C,
Yes.
you can charge businesses to bring in, you still can charge residents, so that's kind of like the trade-off there.
Hmm.
Because when you start getting more oil, you're gonna have more oil pickups, and it's approximately 1,200 per pickup. So,
And I believe too, it's just from going through the process with the type A and B. Those are exempt from testings and stuff. I would imagine once we go to C that they're gonna have to come in and do periodic tests and stuff. And obviously that would be built into the cost structure of receiving it. But yeah, like Jessica said, we get all kinds of people trying to figure out what to do with all this stuff.
Yeah, it'd be great to be able to take it.
Yeah, it's one of the things it's frustrating being here when people come here and they've, they want to do the right thing and then we tell them no. Well,
Yeah.
then where else do they go?
Yeah.
If I could, sorry, this rang a bell in QuickBooks. We have received a few payments for used oil. Since I've been here, we got one in May of 2024 for $153.50, and one in February of this year for $76.75.
Oh, color music.
So raking in the money,
I didn't
a little
know.
over $200, but,
Jessica, it seems like I used to be able to take a gallon of used oil to the auto parts store. I don't remember if it was in Moab or not, but is that something that's also available to citizens in Moab?
Yeah, there were a couple of other type A's in town. A lot of people have I know of two that have actually gotten rid of their designation because they just don't want to deal with the hassle, I guess.
Mm.
So if I remember correctly, there's us, O'Reilly's, and I want to say Point S, but I could be wrong.
Mm. So
You
there's
can look on the-
alternatives. There would be alternatives that you could tell the public, meaning if it was more convenient for them to take their second gallon of oil, they could go to another place maybe until we get our C.
Oh, I mean, you can bring up to 5 gallons, like just as a residential DIY, or you can bring up to 5 gallons per
Oh.
trip. Or if you're a farmer, you can bring up to 55 gallons. It's when it's over 55 gallons or over 5 as a resident when it becomes an issue.
Oh, my.
And what about regular businesses?
We're technically not supposed to accept businesses,
But
so
in the
but
future,
if
we
we go
could.
to type C, we could.
Thank you for clarifying
Mhm.
that. I had a thought too, I don't know if we could mention that it's free up to this amount, but we would appreciate donations to help.
How does donations work
we
for
don't really
government?
have a donation.
I mean, I know we have the
here.
CRC.
We only have it at the CRC. Especially if the state is already paying us, like reimbursing for this, I don't know many of the specifics are.
I just thought if it doesn't cover, if it doesn't wash out, then
Mhm.
some people might, especially people that are passing through that are used to having to pay anyway.
Yeah.
They might be willing to.
Well, I
It was
mean,
just a
that's,
thought.
that's where, that grant comes in, if we can get into that and have it cover the cost of our transport, because that's our biggest thing, it's just the transportation of
Right.
the oil.
Mhm.
So if we can get that grant to cover, say, 3 or 4 pickups a year, then you're pretty much neutral in your net gain. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Jessica. Any other questions? Nick, what do you have for us?
I just wanted to go over in regards to the board packet out, there's a report I'd like to include there going forward is the year-to-date budget versus actual. And I'll show Lily how to pull that. For right now, we're still trending about $250,000 under the
Did you
expense
see that,
budget.
Jessica?
Yeah, I already let him in.
And so, we're still good in terms of budget to actual for the financials. For the capital, with the most recent, water truck purchase, we've spent, 217,000 year to date on capital items. Our budget is 765, so obviously we're well within that number. So we've only utilized about 28% of that budgeted number. I'm interested in what Chris said about the route audits. I'd like to, yeah, that's always a good thing to do. Allows you to gather some information like containers and stops and whatnot. So that'll be an interesting project that the district's doing. Let's see. Yeah, just I think that's what I have for now. If there's any questions, again, we're trending good on the financials so far. And so I think we're in a good spot with the district being able to contribute to the PTIF. That's a critical role. So that's good that that's happening. Any questions?
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, board reports. Mike, what do you got?
Nothing for me.
I attended the webinar meeting with the HR lady. Thanks for letting me attend that. That was insightful on understanding why you guys are doing certain things now with the laws. That was good information. That's all I have.
LJ?
I'm just gonna mention real briefly, because we're gonna touch on it later, but, I did get the, notice that when we do our employee appreciation event, that we don't have to pay for the pool. So we just have to pick a day and time.
AJ, Diane?
Ding dong. I did interview a woman, 4th of July, who was interested in learning more about the solid waste district and living in Castle Valley.
Right.
Was thinking that she might like to join our team. I've been trying to reach her to see if she's still interested or if, we can count on her to submit her application, but I haven't heard anything from her. But she is well qualified and she would do a fabulous job, and she's not 70 years old. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Those are big shoes to fill, Diane. AJ, what do you have?
Other than apologies for being late and thanks for getting me logged in on all 12 of my devices, Jessica, and all that commotion, I really don't have anything reportable.
Okay. And the only thing that I do have something for the closed session, and then if it's helpful, I know we have the best grant writer ever, but the city has finally filled that position. And so if there's ever an opportunity for some collaboration,
Okay.
that person's working really closely with Alexi, and it's the city's Savannah. That is it. Okay, moving on to old business. Discussion, possible action item, review and approval of the purchase of a composter as part of the food waste diversion and pilot compost program / infrastructure.
So I presented at the last meeting, these 3 systems that we have been looking at. And after continued consideration, we decided that we're going to move forward with the Eco Drum. I am proud to say that after all that back and forth, we were finally able to get funds distributed into our bank account. However, I did reach out to the sales representative that I've been talking to at Eco Drum, and after talking to I should forget his name, the gentleman that has an eco drum in Duchesne. He recommended getting larger units. And so I reached out to the sales rep and got a quote for the model that's above ours. So right now I had an original quote for the 730 model. This one is the 740 and I believe it's roughly 5 feet longer. It's still got the same power and capabilities. However, the person that I'm talking to is currently out of the office and is being delayed on getting back to me. The price difference between the two models, is approximately $12,000. Still way under budget, from the original composting unit that we were looking at $231,000. And I did verify that the 740 unit is also capable of extension. So it has 11 and 16 extension kits available. So we've got the funding. They've already started the paperwork for the purchase. And yeah, I just wanted to let the board know that we had settled on a unit and we've got the funds. All it is just waiting on that final quote because they were missing the compost curing box line item on the quote for the 740, as well as the 55-gallon tote lifter, which I think will be very necessary. So once I get that, I'll present it to Chris and we'll decide if we want to do the 730 or the 740. But
So exciting.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
I almost wonder if we don't put it up for a vote for the bigger one that puts us the cap, because we are getting pretty close to, like, we need to start getting some stuff done.
Yeah.
and the other thing too, Jessica, had you given more thought? I think in the last meeting we had talked about, because this is a cheaper model and we're under budget, going ahead and buying the purchasing extensions. Is that?
I would have to get an estimate for it, but I don't have it right now. So the current estimate, now this is without the compost curing box and the tote lift, which is, if I remember correctly, approximately 6,000 additional. But the 740 is 66,998. The 730 was 59,000 and some change.
Okay.
So
What's the cost of the extension kits? Do you have it on there?
I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said that.
Jessica,
No.
what's the name can you tell me the name? There were two that we were looking at last time. And this one is the one that you could add to, and it was
Yes.
it was the lesser of the two, lesser amount total. So-
Ecodome.
Ecodome. So anyway, so what I remembered from the Ecodome, the 730 last time, is that it came with the tote lifter, and I don't know about the other thing, but it came with the tote lifter, I thought.
yes, it does. It's just they, when I asked them for the 740 pricing, I think they took it literally as the 740 pricing and didn't include the additional add-ons that I had with the 730. I think they just misunderstood what I was asking.
Do you have those numbers?
Yeah, I do.
730 ones.
Let me get the 730.
I mean, I think just because we're gonna have to start moving forward, getting some
Yeah.
infrastructure and hide this in there. I don't know
Because
if
I
the board would be
thought that was one
comfortable
of I thought that the
to
reason
just,
why
like,
the
round
seven,
up. So,
I thought that-
sorry, Dan.
I thought that the reason that the 730 was so, amenable to our situation is that we could easily add to it. And I am not sure what the justification would be, just because we have the cash, to go to a 740 at this time.
What was the reason your contact gave for scaling up or for?
The gentleman that I talked to at, I believe it's Farm Creek Meats, he said if I had known, based on his operations that he's done so far, he was like, I would have just gone with the bigger unit.
Is it bigger diameter?
It's longer, I believe.
I think it's smart to go with the bigger unit.
Yeah.
Actually, based on his feedback.
because we can scale up, but yeah, he was like, I would have just gone with the bigger unit as my initial purchase anyway. He's like, I have so much that I put into it that I have to scale back my operations.
And that's my thought too, and and that's also why I appreciate that, at least thinking about the add-ons, like, as long as we are working well within the parameters of this grant funding.
Yeah, the compost
Yeah.
carrying box is 1,800 and the 55-gallon tote lift is 4,500.
Okay.
Say that again?
The curing box, which there's 4 of them at $450 a piece, is 1,800. And the tote lift is 4,500. And I did ask them in my follow-up email to readjust the estimate, but asking if they would honor that pricing. But we did, I mean, regardless of either one that we order, we've got the cash in the bank to order either one.
How much should they distribute?
The 59,499. But we already had funding in the Zion's account prior to that. How much was it? Lily?
We put 100,000 in Zion's just as a buffer and we paid for the wood chipping out of that. And then, yeah, the 59, just under 60 grand was deposited on, I want to say the 8th July.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
looking
the-
right now.
The website doesn't really tell you how they're different. 730 and the 740. It makes sense to me to just approve for the bigger ones. You can just move forward.
Well, and that's kind of what I
The
was
decision,
thinking, because if you look at the action item too, it includes some infrastructure. We've got some quotes for the cement pad, which is about 8,000. I mean, I'd throw with some contingencies, up there, probably 10,000, on that, which is about 82.5. And then electrical is probably gonna be at least another 10,000. We can do a lot of the work ourselves. Just doing the trenching and stuff I've done for electrical up there before. We just do all the trenching and do the conduit and then they just come pull the wire
That's great,
and
yeah.
do the connection.
Am I wrong? It was 11-foot or 22-foot extensions. Yeah,
Oh, they're going.
that can go on the
Those are
740.
the extension, okay.
With the grant. Are you, like, if you, the cost savings you have from buying the equipment, can we use that for other aspects of the composting system?
I believe as long as it fits within the parameters of what we submitted for,
Yeah.
I don't see how it's an
I
issue.
don't think we have to like necessarily think about spending all the money on the composter, so if there's ways we could use that money to improve the collection system or other
Sure.
parts of it, we could do that.
And that's kind of why we decided to go with the cheaper one.
Yeah.
Because another component of this that we're still looking into is a screener and a bagger.
Yeah,
And then we could also utilize it if, depending on, do we pick the right screen, that we can also screen some of our mulch. And be able to sell screen mulch, which is
Absolutely.
a better, quality product as far as mulch goes.
Yeah,
And it ensures more like financial viability and sustainability because we have a secondary source.
absolutely. But weren't we originally awarded up to like 300,000 or some?
Yeah, it's 308, if I remember correctly.
So I think we can do all of these things.
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
We can buy the machine, the expansions, this infrastructure and be set up to be increasing our capacity for the next many years. And that's what's attractive to me, is that as long as, it's still well within the parameters and the grant award.
Yeah,
So,
Go ahead.
am I missing?
No, you're right. I just
Yeah.
have a vision of like, hate buying stuff we don't use, and so like buying like the expansion, if we're not sure we're gonna use
Does it
it.
work for the government?
And so like, I don't know how the budget's gonna pencil out, but if there's ways that the district could use the money that for the expansion on things that would be like for sure used.
Oh, and I don't think we would want to get the expansion right away.
You don't, okay.
But I think getting the larger unit.
Got
And
it.
then getting some of the accessories and making sure that we got the infrastructure
Yeah.
for the initial,
Okay,
the initial thing. I mean, just adding this up, and I know that, this is a grant and it was approved, and we had a little bit of discussion last thing. I think it's very appropriate for the board to vote on this, but maybe the board can just vote on, clearing $100,000 of the grant money to go towards the 740 and the infrastructure, and then we can kind of update the board kind of on how that's worked out, and then we can kind of go from there, because, I mean, we're so far, and our deadline, or our start date started in January.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we gotta get
And even
going.
though the delays, I mean, we might be able to have, you know, some kind of, story to tell as it gets close and we're not be able to make it. I mean, I don't wanna be there, but I mean, we're already starting late.
Okay,
I
And
agree,
then-
I think, go ahead.
yeah, no, you sure?
I was gonna say, I agree. I think it's important because I feel like we're behind the 8 ball that we move forward with this. But I was also gonna mention that maybe at the next board meeting with help from Nick, Jessica, if we could have like a working budget and kind of just have that as well to take a look at and have in front of us. That
Yeah,
was-
no,
I think good.
that sounds good.
And I-
And
We did start, like, we have a separate account in here, and we've already started, meeting, because there's an in-kind match that goes along with this.
Yep.
That has to do with our labor and stuff, and we threw the mulch grind in this separate account, so
That's great.
it should be easy to be able to keep this completely separate from district finances and be able to provide the board a budget.
Okay.
yeah, because moving forward, our timeline isn't the purchasing of the composter because there's only a 2 week lead time really, plus whatever time it takes to ship the unit here. So we can get the unit relatively quickly. It's getting the infrastructure in place and being rurally located, there's always a delay.
Are we ready for a motion?
I have a
just wanna ask one more
question.
Oh,
I have a question. It seemed like we were talking about initially that we didn't know for sure if this machine would need to be under a roof in a building or not. And then that's what my first thought. And then the second thought is we already have a cement pad, and is that cement pad gonna accommodate the 740?
We don't have a cement pad up at the Moab landfill, and the shelter was a recommendation from the gentleman that I spoke to at Front Creek Meats. Because he said, if you get a lot of snow, which he gets a lot of snow in his location, he said it tends to pile on top of the drum, which will cool your product, which will not work properly. So his recommendation is if we're in a location where we do get a lot of heavy snow, or he did say wind, anything that could potentially cool the product. He was like, if you could provide some sort of cover, that would be the ideal, but that was just his recommendation, because he
And-
just gets snow all the time.
And I was, once you had mentioned that, I think, it's basically we just get to use Connex boxes and get one of those roof span things.
Yes.
And we'd be able to regulate temperatures a little bit better.
Nice.
And it'll also kind of isolate it from the other operations and stuff. And that can be put together for fairly cheap.
And I mean, he was more concerned about the temperature regulations because he was dealing with mortality management.
Got it.
We're just
Yeah,
dealing with food waste.
Yeah.
He's
That
dealing
makes
with dead
sense.
chickens.
That makes sense. Well, just one more question about, I'm sorry to beat this dead horse, but with the capacity of these, are we looking at, without the expansion, this capacity as far as you see it lasting for years as we're developing and growing this program? I mean, I don't know much about the capacity of one of these machines and how quickly they're moving.
If it works, we outgrow the expansions, we just get another one.
And we still, when within the 3 years, we can still utilize grant funding, 2 years, the grant fundings.
It's done in February 2027.
Okay, so we get this, we realize it's great, and we can buy an expansion. a year from
Yeah,
now and
because this is
okay.
basically just to start a pilot program
Yeah.
and to make sure that we can do it and kind of, get all the bugs worked out and stuff, cause I mean, I personally, I would think that this would expand into something bigger and larger.
I believe that too,
and it
yeah.
becomes a permanent feature of the district.
Yeah.
So this $300,000 should just kind of kickstart it, and let's, work out all the bugs, kind of see where it works. That's why we kind of wanted to.
Yeah.
We're not advertising, oh yeah, bring us your food quite yet.
Sure.
We just want to kind of.
And that's my belief too, and that's why I keep pressing this, is that I just wanna make sure that if, as long as we're still operating under the allocation of funds from the grant,
I mean,
that we utilize those to really, to develop this to a point that then, you know, if a year and a half from now, right after the grant funding is done, and we're like, this is great, this is going so well, all of a sudden we're tapping our general fund as, you know, as this.
I mean,
Well, we would, and we have, and this is how it becomes a successful grant is we make it sustainable. And
Or
we
it's paying for itself. and-
Yeah, and in the
Okay.
model that Jessica turned in, I mean, there was multiple ways that we can do it, whether it was bulk sell to farm, whether it was individual sales. As an individual basis, and also if this becomes a kind of a sustainable project, there's also gonna be funds in a collection route as well. And
Got
then,
it.
I mean, obviously that has to be balanced with operational
Got
costs because that includes another route. But yeah, I mean, there's funds there to be able to figure it out. So we got three
Okay.
sources of funding. Plus the other funding where if we get a screen that's for the mulch, we already know that one pretty much sells out every year.
Okay,
So I mean, we're looking pretty good.
okay,
But I'm sure there's things that are gonna pop up. We're dealing with food waste and
Sure.
we're in for all kinds of surprises.
well, and I'm done asking about the expansion, but I do believe, I'm not totally done, but I do believe this program is gonna do really, really well.
Yeah,
And there's a
it's
huge need
in
and
the
desire.
time that like everyone, like even recycling, there's sometimes there's a.
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone's like, oh, food compost, and everyone's excited that we've talked to, so I think that we're gonna have a lot of community buy-in, we just better be ready.
yeah.
I mean, even just based on the cost of this unit alone, two of those units still don't equal the cost of that
Exactly.
singular
Yeah.
unit, so you could think of it in that terms, like if we buy this first one and it's wildly successful, boom, just buy a second composter. Now we got two running composting systems where we have
Stages.
stages, so you can have a constant supply of
Mhm.
finished product.
Yeah.
One last thing, the other attractive part of this is electrical load on this is
Very low.
not difficult at all.
It's like a 1 horsepower motor. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean.
she's tiny.
I-
All it does is just roll it. That's all it
Turn the
does. It
drum.
just turns it. It doesn't do anything else. It just turns it.
And that was kind of my concern with the bigger one, I mean, it was
Yeah.
a huge draw and. You know, we all of a sudden now go to Moab landfill, you know, the other obvious place would be Klondike and, you know, 1 horsepower motor, we could, power through generators and solar.
Yeah.
Fairly easy.
That was another thing I liked about it. It had a smaller footprint, like energy footprint.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Are we ready for a motion?
I think so.
I'd like to make a motion, or are we doing 100,000? I'm good with that.
Is that,
Yeah.
I think
Chris,
that,
that
you know,
covers everything? Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to allocate, $100,000 to the purchase of a composter as part of the food waste diverse and pilot compost program and the infrastructure. Just say that you give me a cheat sheet.
I'm sorry, I didn't
think
make.
that was great. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Alright,
Diane?
I don't know what I'm voting for. I don't know if I'm voting for the 730 or the 740.
We're just, right now, we're gonna allocate funds so that to give Jessica the freedom to move in a timely manner on whatever of those units she sees fit
Oh, okay.
in
Well,
talking with Chris.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to F, the discussion item proprietary roll-off container system.
well,
Rears its ugly head again.
yeah, so, I'll try to make it quick, it's just a discussion, I don't know. So as a gentle reminder, last week we had 3 of our roll-off trucks go down. And one day we were able to get them back up and going, but I know that, you know, we've talked about it extensively. Some of you probably know more about it than you really want to. And we've been focused on other things, but, so it came up again. Levi's working on some workarounds to maybe take one of our older trucks, maybe even throw another one in there. We've had discussions about trying to retrofit these to a standardized system. What I would like to do is take another approach to this. So rather than trying to spend all this money to retrofit, I would like to look for a new truck and purchase some new containers of a standardized system. So we have a standardized system in place. I'll come up with numbers and a couple different possible scenarios so that we initially move to a new system. I mean, we don't have to utilize that right away, but it's available and it's an option rather than just trying to fight. And, you know, Levi's trying to figure out, we're trying to find a transmission that they don't make anymore. He's looking at taking another of the rear loads and trying to convert that to an older system. Where I think we just move to a new system. We purchase maybe 8 containers that are most popular especially for the national park systems.
Yeah.
And then we can still focus. I mean, we still came up with some good ideas and stuff, but this sets us up for success in the future rather than just having this come and being like, oh, what the hell are we gonna do?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll come up with those numbers. So that was just kind of real quick, unless you guys have any questions or something. I'll try to flesh that out a little bit more, but it was just something as this came up last week and they're telling me that they're gonna rebuild, you know, Frankenstein again, over and over again. It's just like, okay, we gotta take a kind of a new approach here, so.
Oh, I think it's way past time and that's a good plan.
And I mean, all the things we talked about are still viable and we can still
Yeah.
convert those, but at least this gets us moving into that newer system. Or the standardized system that everyone uses kind of sooner than later,
Yeah.
rather than, so. So that's all I have on that.
Okay. Any questions? G is discussion item glass recycling grant submission.
Do we love talking about? Yes. So good news, the deadline submission for this grant actually got pushed to Friday, thank goodness, because it was supposed to be today at 3. And I was in a panic because my computer crashed and I lost 2 hours worth of the grant that I had been working on, so thank you, recycling gods. We're still moving forward with the same premise that I suggested last time, which is the purchase of 3 specialized 18 cubic yard containers that will serve as satellite collection points for glass recycling. With an in-kind donation from the solid waste district to update or build a concrete pad and cinder block enclosure for the proper storage and management of the glass that's going to come from these 3 locations, plus the glass that's being recycled up at the CRC or collected at the CRC. We're going to be asking for the full amount, 30,000, and we'll also include funds set aside for partnership with the city's arts and recreation department for putting murals on these containers for beautification, as well as an extensive public education outreach campaign. I met with Chris and Kim of Moab Solutions yesterday, and we talked over everything that had been generated thus far for the grant submission process, and we kind of identified ways that we could make the grant submission more attractive and catch the eye more so of the whoever's judging or the criteria. It's the Glass Recycling Foundation.
Like it's a business group? Speak.
It's an organization that just, that's what they do. I got sent an email from them, signed up for the webinar, found out that special service districts were eligible, and I heard nothing beyond that.
It could be, I'm sure you guys think about this, but you could advertise how many tourists we have.
That was part of our discussion yesterday, was if we could just if we could use this grant funding just to reach 1% of the annual 3 million visitors that we get a year.
Oh, in addition to, we have so many people here on vacation and they'll learn more about glass recycling while they're here and like take it home with them.
Yeah, that's included in there, because I was more so focusing on how we were isolated
Yeah.
and basically the lack of accessibility to the year-round residents, because they ask for a lot of metrics that are kind of difficult to justify the impact from visitors, because at the CRC, we don't have somebody like, okay, are you a resident? Are you a visitor? We don't have that percentage of who's using the systems. So they asked for these like quantifiable metrics that I kind of stated. I was like, well, we do have, you know, incidental volumes that come from tourists and second homes, overnight accommodations, turbos and all that sort of stuff. I was like, but they're not, I can't really quantify them. So I can mention it, but I can't really make it like a hard line on the metrics.
Can you say, we get whatever, 2 million and a half visitors a year? Is there some estimate of like pounds of glass per person per day that you could be like, if we get glass recycling, this would be the amount of stuff that could get diverted potentially?
I was able to pull a approximation of what a household generates, but trying to ask them to generate what the average tourist generates in glass alone, not just like what, because you can find waste, how much they generate in waste, but I don't know if that's regular waste.
You could do it hypothetically, you'd be like, you know, say 1 out of every 10 tourists use a piece of glass a day, they're here.
Yeah.
Or something that's like a reasonable estimate, that you could come up with like a huge number.
Well, I tried to frame it more so under the educational outreach
Yeah.
impact.
Like that.
So, because that was, Chris had brought that up, and was like, if we can reach just 1%, that's 30,000 people that are reached
Yeah.
under this program, and if that's one ton per 30,000 or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was trying to frame it more around that way, because you could quantify that through like online metrics, like traffic, on websites,
Right.
social media post engagement. Like I can quantify and track that. But unless we got somebody standing at these bunkers or at the CRC asking if they're a tourist or not, it's kind of hard to quantify it.
Although we're doing the state, because of their Swiffer grant, is doing a wage characterization study at the Klondike landfill next week, so we'll actually get some.
We will have
metrics. I
some
mean, it'll
data,
be
but
after the glass
After
day
Friday.
deadline, but I mean, it'll be useful information
For
yeah,
It
future.
might be numbers too, just in general.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I know it's Friday and I actually have a little bit of time in the morning, maybe I can help do a little online research and send it to you.
Or-
That's exciting, though. That would be also great to get more glass recycling.
Yep, it would be great, up to my eyeballs in grants, but
I mean, if we get a good food waste diversion and glass diversion,
well, there's also the used oil grant too. So if we can get used oil diverted, food waste diverted,
Yeah,
glass
that's amazing.
diverted, we're gonna be. I was also trying to frame it as like, tri-county, where the hub and spoke model for a tri-county or southeastern Utah, because that's what I'm calling the glass recycling grant. It's increasing glass recycling accessibility in southeastern Utah, because I originally had glass infrastructure in Grand County, but this is bigger than Grand County. We service San Juan, Grand, and even occasionally Emory. So be it Green River.
Remind me again of what, you thought as the locations to have.
Yeah, did you talk about
Oh, I
that
thought
at your
you had
meeting?
mentioned some thoughts. If
no.
not, that's fine.
Actually, he diverted me to Alexis and I did meet the new sustainability person as well. And I gave them like a 45-second update really quick of all the cool things we're doing. So they're excited, and you know, when you get back,
Yeah, I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, I don't think the city has zeroed in on its locations yet.
Okay.
There are a few that have been talked about, but last I heard of them, not a few.
I mean, we talked about some like potential places like the
liquor store,
liquor store, transit, Lions Hub,
I think City Market.
City Market. I mean, if we could capture like Woody's or the brewery, that'd be excellent,
Yeah.
but it's just
Well,
all,
that's almost, to me, that's almost a more business. And
yeah, that
we
is,
need to figure
just
that
like
out.
in that area,
Yeah, very much.
that would be a collection option.
Yeah.
but that's
A
good.
collection option for businesses.
Yeah, we really need to figure that out.
For especially those businesses, there's so much financial incentive for figuring something out.
Yeah, because if you're
yeah,
diverting your glass, then you're not using that for trash
Yeah.
pickups.
Oh, yeah. Okay, anything else for Jessica? Okay, moving on to new business, action item, review applications for board vacancy and recommend an appointment to the Grand County Commission.
Mike, you were the only applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't make it easy on them, yeah. Really.
Do I need to step out or something, or?
What do we need to do?
I don't believe you can vote, but in reading that, the little handbook for special service districts, like it has been appropriate for you to remain as a member in your, in this capacity
Right.
until you apply again.
Okay, so is this as simple as just a motion?
Yeah.
As long as Mike doesn't do it, I think someone make a motion and second.
Make a motion to recommend to the Grand County to approve.
Okay.
And I can send you a letter because it would need to come from you.
Great,
but,
thank you.
I can just send it so you can just sign it.
That
and
sounds
then
great.
Email it to Dana.
Okay,
Okay, I'll move that, we send a recommendation for the appointment of Mike Dunway to Solid Waste Special Service District Board, to the Grand County Commission.
thanks, LJ. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, AJ. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. You did it. Mike.
Congrats.
Okay, well, let's get through the commission. Discussion possible action item, review and approval for a purchase of 2 walking floor trailers. Chris.
I'm not sure how long ago it was, a month ago, since last board meeting.
June 17th, it was, I can get you a date. The night of June 17th.
We had a fire and we lost one of our transfer trailers. And I believe it was in 2021, we purchased a third transfer trailer to compensate for the overcapacity of the transfer station. It works great, allows us to maintain our operational compliance by clearing the floor. Every day it has been a struggle trying to run 2 trailers. Since 2021, we've increased some volumes. But we've also added single stream into the side of the third bay, basically the transfer station. So instead of just replacing one transfer trailer, I would like to get 2 transfer trailers. That gives us a greater flexibility and will also prevent, we've had to start manning the landfills on holidays because we can't manage the trash flow with just 3 trailers. What that does is it allows us to store it in the trailer, maintaining operational compliance, and then deal with it on the following open day of the land, when the landfill's open. On holidays, we do pay holiday pay plus time and a half. So we've kind of peaked out. So I know volumes are down a little bit, but according to my kind of calculations, like our Jeep Safari car show was insanely busy. In fact, we sent so much volumes of trash out there. I mean, we were running 6 trucks, which I haven't seen in quite a while. So it also kind of allows us a little bit more flexibility just to have that extra trailer. So rather than just kind of meeting the status quo, and everything I want to do is I want to try to improve operations at the district, and I think this would be a good move towards that.
Great. And with the truck that was damaged in the fire, is there an insurance claim?
There's an insurance claim that was $24,000. This is what happens when we run 30-year-old equipment.
Yep.
And something happens to it, you don't get basically nothing back.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you need to buy another tractor if we buy 2 trailers?
We do have 4, so we can kind of swap it and kind of prioritizing. Yes, I mean, that would be great, but just trying to prioritize. We do have 4. The 4th one right now, we actually hooked up to the recycle trailer. And we use that to run up and back and forth from Salt Lake, and we do that between 2 and 3 times a month. So, I mean, that's something that we do run and fill up every once in a while, so there'll be a little bit of swapping going on, but, yeah. So yes, we would love to have another tractor, but.
But that's not what you
Yeah.
actually need right
Yeah.
now. Just the trailers.
Do we know how much these would cost?
Yes, so, we've got some estimates. Levi was able to locate a new one and a used one that, we're gonna have. So these walk-in floors, after they're utilized for so long, then you turn the walk-in floor. We found a used one that hasn't been turned yet, so we're gonna turn that walk-in floor. It is, a total of, so the new trailer is 105,500. The used trailer is 60,900. Both of them together are 166,400. We've secured, some financing. I ran this by Nick. Nick identified the option to where we can, buy out. There's a buyout on it for 5%, which is equals to be about $3,000 for each one. There is a potential to try to go to some traditional financing. Which I think, to me, so I'm starting to work on the budget starting now for next year, and these are some of the things that would go. I think last board meeting, we talked about Alex, and so before we didn't have the option to go to kind of traditional financing. I think there will be a time in the future we can try to roll a lot of this stuff together and go through some traditional financing. The interest rate is a little bit higher going through these, I'm not sure, leasing companies, whatever they are. So, just for expediency, we were gonna go through one of these basically the same way that we financed our rear load truck. And then as we figure out next year's budget and really what our bigger operational needs are, I mean, I intend to try to force in some type of replacement plan in our budget, but just for the time being, that's what I'd suggest. And I did run it by Nick, and Nick suggested going with the option where there is the buyout, so that would be an option. So that was a long way to go.
What is the percentage?
It is 4.21%.
That's not as bad as I thought you were gonna say.
Payments are gonna be for the used one, about rounding up $1,300 a month for the used one, and well, actually put it together, 2,000, so $3,300 a month for both trailers.
Okay. Okay, what questions do we have? We lost AJ.
You just took his video off.
Okay.
We need a motion or something, or,
Yeah, this requires an action item.
and what's the amount
Sorry, so with kind of contingencies, I'm asking the board to approve $175,000 for the 2 trailers.
Is that gonna be enough, you think, just in case? So,
I hate to kind of come back and I try to, that's an extra $9,000. I mean, if the board's okay, maybe $180,000.
in my head, I was thinking 185, that gives you 10%.
Okay, then that's actually, which 10% contingency is pretty standard figured, so yeah.
Okay.
I know you started it, do you wanna finish it?
Sure. Motion to approve for the purchase of 2 walking floor trailers with the amount of $185,000.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Chris. Moving on. So with Jay, we are gonna hold that off on that for our closed session. So moving on to K, we've got discussion possible action item review and approval to enter an MOU with local nonprofit entity.
Basically, this is Kim, Sarah from Moab Solutions, who I've been working with Kim for a few months now. We finally come up with a formalized agreement. We tried to keep it very loose. It's basically a 6-month commitment with a cap of about $10,000. just to move forward with, some of the projects we've been working on. I've kind of held off from officially kind of committing the district into it till we formalize this kind of agreement, and, you know, this is just kind of to see what we can do. Next, if the board approves this, next month, I'm hoping to kind of bring Kim in here and we can kind of go more in depth on some of the programs that we've been, working on.
Great.
I mean, the biggest takeaway, I don't know if you can think of anything on your head, is pretty standard. I had Lily review it, and we added in a couple of protections for the district. Basically for Kim's time, we're gonna pay her $50 an hour plus, travel time expenses. But it will not exceed $10,000 by the end of 2025. So in a sense, that's kind of under my procurement limit, but I mean, this is an agreement, so I thought it would bring it in front of the board, make sure the board kind of blesses this thing.
And can you give us an idea what scope of work, what she's doing?
So, basically the idea is to create a spoken hub model for southeastern Utah. So the problem is what we have source separated, clean material. We do not have enough quantities to reach end markets. We do have a single stream, and there's plans to try to pull some of that off to try to reach those quantities, be able to reach end markets. With Kim's experience, she's contacted everywhere from Bluff to Green River to Price. As far as to try to gather, set up little small satellite recycling programs, and whether we offer the transportation, or we've had discussions with another third-party operation called Replenish out of Southern California that provides pickups and drop-offs, and that's what kind of their business model is try to help to get these quantities to end markets. So that's kind of one aspect of it. We've also come up with some different pilot programs we would like to start in the community. For example, kind of Copy and Green Solutions, providing more collection options. You know, unfortunately, we've kind of been bagging on our own system for a while, and our single stream recycling is you know, we're not gaining, we've been slowly losing. So providing the city is where we'll kind of start and create a couple different pilot programs for different kind of collections to try to bring in some of the more quantities. The other thing that we were gonna do is using our contracts with national parks to start really simple. I know the national parks used to get kind of incentives into create recycling programs. The airport was another one of them. But we were gonna start there and just offer up like simple things like bottles and cans. We've started pulling, I stopped sending our tins and aluminum to up to IWP in Salt Lake. We've actually been pulling some of our aluminum out of here, and we've almost got a load of about halfway, not almost, about halfway got a load of commodities for aluminum. When the price was good in aluminum, that was $20,000 for a truckload of aluminum. And that market we already have, that's through our metal scrapper, Western Metals.
Okay.
So they'll just briefly, I mean, we've discussed other things, but that would be kind of like, I guess, a good starting point of where we were looking to.
Okay. Thanks.
What, I don't understand this at all, so, and I don't wanna waste a whole lot of time on it. But if we're gonna hire Kim with a max of $10,000 over the next 6 months to try to get us to make more money at doing recycling, is that kind of what I'm hearing?
So you have to be careful. So there is no money recycling.
Oh, I know.
Basically what we do is we try to offset operational costs. But if we're going to recycle, we might as well try to do it in a way that makes sense. Right now, we have received 0 funds for any recycling we do other than cardboard, well, and metal. The metal is obviously a good one, so, but that's kind of in a separate bucket. So by increasing quantities, we will increase our revenue in the recycling program to help offset it, so that every year then we come here and we look at the recycle center and it's at a loss. It's because we don't, To me personally, and I don't want to like talk about like the past or anything, but there's a better way to handle our recycling. And if we can increase our quantities to get to end markets, that's the easiest way. There's other things that you can help justify in recycling is it pulls just like food waste compost, this pulls stuff out of the landfill. And now, if you're a private company, that's not the best thing to do because we get paid per ton. But being that we're, kind of a steward of the waste for this community, we want to make our landfill last as long as possible. So anything we can divert for, so you can also assign a value from waste diversion from the landfill on top of actually getting paid for some of the quantities rather than just doing it all for free would be the incentive.
I mean, it sounds like we have an interested party, like the nonprofit, to help us. And then we can hire this person, Kim, to help do a lot of that facilitation and not have it be another thing that pushes plate.
Yeah, exactly. And she's got lots of years. I know Diane knows. I mean, she comes, I won't even touch her experience. I mean, it's kind of what I learned about recycling from.
Was she the gal when, the citizens input last?
Yes.
Sarah.
Okay.
If it's helpful, year to date so far for 2025, we brought in just over $9,000 for cardboard. So just looking at that cardboard revenue could offset what we're paying him. Or what we potentially might do.
And ideally, would,
Come closer to breaking even.
yeah.
That's really the goal. That's really the goal is to be honest and transparent and actually try to recycle. That's the other component of this is by once you can reach these quantities, you actually, just like our cardboard is a beautiful program. We collect cardboard. There's actually an untouched market. Most of the hotels don't recycle their cardboard. I mean, I bet we're probably pretty close to 20 to 30% of the cardboard is what we're gathering through so there's room to grow, but we're also taking that cardboard, we're loaded on a truck and it's going straight to a mill and it's 100% being recycled. So there's no question that it's going to landfills or anything like that. And by increasing these quantities, we can start doing that to other commodities and try to reach these end markets so that we're honestly recycling rather than, well, yeah, we ship it to someone and we don't know what happens to after that. So I think it becomes a better and more honest and robust recycling program.
So we need a motion?
Yes.
Motion to approve to enter into an MOU with a local nonprofit entity.
It's Moab Solutions.
Moab Solutions.
Moab.
Moab Solutions.
Yep.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, we've got, all right, we're, the staff appreciation picnic. Ooh, LJ, is this you?
You're okay with that? I don't know.
No, I mean, the only thing I wanted to start off with is, let's talk about a date first, and then we can talk about some of the other options that come along with it, that we talked about. So,
What were the dates you had proposed those 2 Sundays?
and it said Sunday.
Sorry, we should have put this pulled up. So you were thinking Sunday, July 27th, but you said you wouldn't be able to attend this or Sunday, August
It's
3rd
also pretty quick.
or Sunday the 10th. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's already the 16th. School does start, if that's helpful, on Thursday, August 14th. And then Labor Day would be on Monday, September 1st, but perhaps we could look at August 24th.
For the 17th.
Yeah.
17. Those certainly both work for me.
I
It seems like
know I wasn't gonna do a 17th because it's a weekend, it's Savannah's wedding.
Oh, you're right. That is, okay, never mind.
The 10th or the 24th.
That's from going off that.
Well, yeah, so I mean, it's on a Saturday, so,
Yeah, but she's not.
no, she wouldn't.
And,
Yeah.
and so, maybe before we settle on a date, let's talk about what we are asking for from like the board's commitment, and then. You know, I think that, and then just what kind of things we need to be thinking about from the staff perspective, but I mean, it's the expectation that, and I'd absolutely be willing to this, that we are donating some labor to this, like grilling and other things, or
Mhm.
it would be great to have staff there, right?
Mhm.
Or to have the
Absolutely.
board there, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, great.
We do have a barbecue. We can
We
bring
do?
down there. We got coolers.
Where is it on at Swanee? I don't know, like they do at Rotary or?
Yeah, we have a barbecue, so.
Yeah, not something we want to use if not probably, I mean, yeah, yes. Exactly.
Lifers down there using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Kettle propane.
Okay.
And I have one big orange cooler that, you know, we can put water in,
We
but
got
Okay.
plenty of coolers. Like,
they're water ones.
oh, no. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So we'll have a setup outside of the pool where we're grilling and eating and then
After they swim.
after this, okay, awesome. Okay,
Just cause like, that's what I was assuming, cause
Yeah.
they, you know, I was thinking they'd swim from like 2 to 4 and
okay,
then we have the picnic after.
that sounds great. That sounds like a really nice afternoon.
Gives us time to set up and have it, so.
Yeah.
I say the 24th after school starts.
That makes it easier.
Same too.
For, yeah, people
That
around
gives us
and,
plenty of
yeah.
time to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can, you know, buy just ready to grill stuff, you know, I can slice up some like veggie bell peppers and onions and we have hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm
Great.
happy to buy any tofu dogs if anybody will eat them, but I don't know if anybody will eat them.
I probably would be the only, but yeah, I can eat other stuff.
Okay.
I'll bring some of my sauces.
Yes, yeah, we're just gonna hire you to cater it.
That it would be a potluck if people want to bring a dish, like a side, or should it just be like, we got burgers and
No.
brats?
Yeah, It's just,
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, keep it simple and keep, especially for the staff, for the.
Yeah, and maybe some chips or potato salad. Or-
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was gonna look around and see if I could, this will give me time to do it, to talk to some of the businesses to donate some stuff for a raffle.
Awesome.
Mary did, I did talk to Mary. She suggested doing maybe like funny awards or something. You didn't know that, but that was her suggestion that she.
Oh, that,
You know, whatever, I guess that would fall on you all, right? So whatever you feel like you have the capacity.
Oh,
Sure.
I've done it before. I've done it before.
Was it fun and well received and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tailored some of them to certain people.
Okay.
That's what you have to do. with that. Yeah.
I mean, the problem is then you wanna get everyone kind of involved.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that, so, I mean, maybe just kind of keeping it simple. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I think.
Have-
Go ahead, sorry.
Have you teased this with the staff at all? Is there?
No, I did put out a survey for like staff appreciation, asking how they would like to be shown that they were appreciated.
Yeah.
For individual and group events, food was #1 for group events. I pulled this up, but it was really interesting for individual, they would like time off awards. I thought that would be an easy, like, we could give 4 or 8 hour time off awards to people. You know, I know the government has done that, you know, because we can't really give like cash bonuses very easily.
Yeah.
We could give paid time off. Other than that, they would love gift certificates and thank you cards
Yeah.
was at the bottom,
Yeah.
if I may.
Yeah.
They will like public recognition, like a shout out in the local newspaper, that and thank you cards were
Okay.
the lowest.
Don't spend it, buy a bunch of them.
Don't, if you want to, but they will end up here.
Okay. I don't
Yeah,
want them to just be recycled, but you know.
yeah. I mean, I think.
I
it's
might get,
cute,
if
but
I get like a gift certificate donated, then I might
Yeah.
get like a card for that.
That would
but-
make sense,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was interesting. We only had 8 responses, but out of, you know, if we look at it, they only have 30 employees. It was about a third of
Okay.
people responded. It was just a like 2-question Survey Monkey QR code survey.
And this, I hope too, is also something that their families are all invited and welcome and great.
Well, if that's the
Only-
case, then we'll definitely need to do an RSVP, so we make sure that we.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can work on that.
Yeah.
If no one signs up,
Yes,
then
we.
we're all not.
So, when we did the grand opening for the playground at Swanee, unfortunately, a couple months after the playground opened and kids just absolutely swarmed and are still swarming it. But there were 3 kids showed up for the grand opening. And so it's like the mayor and the city manager and council and everybody.
Day weekend.
Yeah, it was terrible. Everything about it was, yeah, and but so the picture in the paper is just like
Adult.
city, like administration and like 2 kids. So let's do better.
Yeah, let's do that. That's the RSVP.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I'll get back to you to confirm that
Yeah.
that is available
Great.
and the time and everything. Unless, if something else comes
Yeah.
up, then I'll email.
I'll wait to
Yeah.
hear from you.
24th, we said, right?
That's what we're hoping for. I just, he was waiting to hear from me on dates and time. So
Okay,
that's
great.
kind of what I narrowed down.
thanks for making this happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, the last discussion item is local advertising limits.
I guess this is mine. So this came up, we received an invoice, but it looked more like a hopeful invoice from the Grand County football team as a sponsorship. We could, we would get, like, we would buy a banner and we could have solid waste at the high school track. It brings up question, it was $350 plus $150 for the banner that could be used in future years. This again would fall within the procurement limits, but is that something that the board would want to see? It then brings up, do we support soccer or baseball or girls' sports? Like, where do we draw the line? And it seems like the majority of the community, I don't want to say the majority of the community, but there are people that do not know what we are, do not know what we do. They still think it's about sanitation, or monument waste, for better or for worse. So I thought some goodwill for $350 might be
You're gonna
worthwhile.
head up for every sport.
That's what I figured.
Once you do one, and not just sports,
It
but
is.
yeah.
And that's where I don't know if we want, it seems worthwhile, but again, it just opens up, how do we pick and choose? So we wanted to see what the board thought about supporting local.
I mean, I support local sports a lot. I think it's important to keep these kids in sports.
Yeah.
They're our future employees, to be honest. And so I support that, but I know that each sport will come to you, because they all need money. And I don't know what our advertising budget is, but I think that's something to consider when we start.
I mean, I
To
would have
rebuy a banner for each sport,
There's no,
and they don't even get the money when you buy the banner, I mean, that's just the banner. like,
For sure,
it's Just,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Um,
my feedback.
I know that we used to sell at Gearheads, we would have, a budget that how much money we'd want to be willing to donate throughout the year. And we regulated it to within if once we were done spending the money, then that was it. But I think it's better to say, to be able to maybe like what we do at Synergy with our applications is have everybody kind of say to us, okay, this is what we'd like to get from you guys. And then, so we have like a section of the year where we say, even if you're a football team, when they usually are trying to raise money now, but we do it February, think ahead, donate it, and then we'll take 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, and then distribute it throughout the year.
I don't see it on the budget, at least on our website. I mean, I do put things into that because we do advertise like the vouchers, spring and fall vouchers. We have advertised for job positions. It's under general and operating, but it's 7101 and I don't see it as a specific line item.
Do we ever provide trash and recycling for events that as like a pro bono type thing, or
Like,
We had in the past a long time ago.
we have?
it's hard with like nonprofits because nonprofit is, there's so many in town and the Boy Scouts of America.
It would be like
you know.
the sport team.
Yeah,
or
like
just
how do you
the
pick and
slippery
choose?
slope. Yeah.
Ours has been more so like special events in terms of like we did free cleanup for the floods and we've done free cleanup for the
Yeah.
fires. That's been our free things that are outside of like our normal realm of free have been like
And to me,
Event.
it's just, that just kind
Force
of goes
your
under
events.
the emergency response,
Yeah.
trying to help mitigate that. And I know when this comes up in the past, We've kind of shied away from it. And I think the bigger question, I mean, obviously this is something, and actually that might not be a bad idea, is to try to, if how much it's gonna cost to do, for a sponsor sports, what's the list and how much is it gonna cost, and do we wanna do that? But I think this might be maybe a legal question too, as far as.
Maybe I mean, they're asking for payments by August 1st, obviously, we don't, I didn't see this last year, I think again,
Yeah.
it was like a wishful thing that they sent it out. If it's helpful, year to date, we've spent just under $2,000 in advertising, which does include radio ads for job openings and a very small amount on Facebook for the advertising that Jessica does.
I guess my opinion, this is gonna sound callous, I do agree that there's a need to get information out to the community about who we are and what we do and how we support this community. I'm not sure this is the best way. I don't think that,
I agree.
That's what we wanted your take on, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, it could also get misinterpreted too. Why are my fees going to pay for a banner at the whatever?
Because it is public money, so.
Yeah.
Why are we paying for this one, not the other?
Yeah,
That's where I was
Yeah.
thinking.
And I think those opportunities to, to respond to emergencies or to spring cleanups, I think that stuff is so much more impactful in your community and.
Yeah, because they also utilize the data collected from that, for applications with FEMA.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because the two flash floods that we had last year, Cora, back when she was still with the emergency management office, that she requested that data specifically to submit to FEMA so they could use it to get grant funding for cleanup.
Great,
So,
great. Yeah.
like you said, it is more impactful and it helps the community overall.
Okay. Okay, anything else on the local advertising limits? Okay, moving on to future considerations. The August ACB meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 20th, 2025 at 4:30. Does that work? Okay. Then if that is finished up, then I would entertain a motion to go into a closed session to discuss the sale or lease of real property and also pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
Motion to go into closed session. Ready to repeat all that other part too? Few notes. For the sale or lease of real property and to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay. Going into closed session,
Where you go, I gotta stop
of course.
the live stream.
Do you want the staff to stay? I guess, yeah, I didn't know. Yeah,
Well,
just stay.
it doesn't matter.
Oh.
I mean, actually, if you want.